Hey everyone, welcome back to an Extrovert Paints. So, we're doing a different perspective this time around, top down with a new armature, so hopefully this will alleviate some of the wobbliness of the camera and also give you a better view of the miniatures, and we'll see how it works. I'm not sure how it's going to work yet, but yeah, give this a shot. So, real quick, we're gonna do a quick chat about the last video I made because I got a lot of dislikes on that video, and I'm actually kind of surprised. Maybe it's tone deafness on my part. I'm not sure, but I felt like it was worth a chat because today someone said to me, in a very polite way, that I have a lot of talent, and it was about something I posted up on the interwebs, and they liked it, and they were trying to compliment me, and I couldn't help but think, like, no, it's not talent. Like, I didn't start here. This is not the starting point. I didn't just magically pick up a brush one day and you know good painting came out. It was a lot of effort, and I think I need to demonstrate that. I have to show you exactly what I'm talking about because it really is about dedicating yourself to the craft and learning the techniques and getting better and wanting to get better. And, like I said, I started 6 years ago at painting again. And I used to paint back in the day. But, I picked up the brush again. Like I said, it was like 2013. And, I started really getting into this hobby, like full steam ahead. I went out, watched a ton of YouTube videos. I bought like a whole range of paints from Vallejo. I followed like step by step processes, like step by step on these YouTube videos. I would watch like Dr. Faust's painting clinic, right? His videos. If you haven't seen his videos and you're just starting out painting, or you're like a beginner painter and you're trying to figure out where to go, I can't recommend his videos enough. They're so good. And he goes out of his way to really explain certain techniques, and it's great. So I would like watch his videos and then buy the paints that he was using, go home, like write down the recipes and the mixture ratios and everything, and I would work to get them correct. And it was a really good primer for me to just start painting. And one of the things that I used to do again was AWI, and here's a good example. So I don't have any of the miniatures from when I first started. A lot of them I tossed or I put away in a bin somewhere. I'm probably never going to see them again. I'm never going to repaint them again. It's just, I painted them up as practice, and that was it. So here's an AWI miniature that I did, and I want to really show you, where I came from. Like, this is the best that I could do 5 years ago. And you can see here, I just slopped the paint on. I dry brushed it a lot. So a lot of this is dry brushed, and I just barely stayed within the lines on this miniature. The basing is okay. It's not the best. I think I used like really like large grit rocks and gravel, as opposed to like sand or like texture paint or something like that. That'd be more correct for this scale, more realistic. And yeah, I mean, this is the literal best that I could do. There's no detail on it. There's absolutely very little detail. And this is where I started. I didn't even bother painting the hair or the hat. I just left it totally black. That's where I was at the time. Now, I got frustrated with myself because I wasn't producing the miniatures that Dr. Faust was producing. I was not good enough, and I gotta tell you, I was getting like hobby depressed. Like maybe my fifth into my fourth year painting, like I'm saying years back, right? So 4 or 5 years ago, I was getting like hobby depressed. I felt like I wasn't good enough to keep doing this, and I was investing a lot of time and money into this, and I was like, oh man, why can't I ever? What's wrong with me, right? So I picked up an Army Painter dip, and you guys probably have seen this out there. It's a can that looks like this. Okay. This is dark tone. I have medium tone, and I also have the light tone. And I thought, okay, well, this is pretty easy. All I have to do is add some base coats, right? Just get some base coats on there, and then dip the miniature into the, into the quick shade dip. Put it in, shake the miniature, and dab off the excess. Let it set somewhere for 48 hours, and voila, I had an amazing looking miniature. This is what I ended up doing for like a good year of painting. Like a year of painting. This is all I did. I had like miniatures and upon miniatures that I had dipped just because I didn't have the time, patience, or willpower to dedicate myself to learning how to, how to highlight or shade correctly, or traditionally, I should say, not correctly, traditionally. I didn't want to learn the traditional way of painting because I was getting depressed with what I was coming out with, which is like this, right? And Dr. Faust, if you've seen his miniatures, they look amazing. They look like, just miraculous, right? And again, here's someone who worked a long time to get as good as he is. And I mean, I don't know how many decades he's been painting, but he's been painting for a long time, and his miniatures look like they have been looks like they've come to life sometimes. Just how good he paints things. So anyway, this is where I was at with that. And then I started doing other things. I started learning proper brush control. It took me a long time to learn proper brush control, probably longer than it takes most people, because I wasn't getting it. I wasn't, as many times as I tried, I just wasn't getting consistency down. And then it dawned on me one day, maybe I should try using something that helps in the paints besides water, because water wasn't doing it for me. I tried. I could never get the consistency down just with water. So I started picking up things like glaze medium and like thinner medium from Vallejo. I have some of that here. Sorry for shaky cam for a second. So I picked up these two things. I used them extensively, and all of a sudden I was getting better quality out of my miniatures. And really, it's just trying new things, experimenting, picking up a new product. Doing something as simple as that can change everything for you. The same thing with paintbrushes. I was using like these cheap paintbrushes. I know some people love them. They swear by them. And they're professional painters. This is all that they use, is these cheap paintbrushes. They don't work for me. I had to go out and I had to spend money to get Winsor and Newton paintbrushes. Like, these are what I'm using. I'm using, a small miniature brush and a number 2, and this is what I use all the time. And there are people out there who can't afford that, and I can appreciate that. It's an expensive part of the hobby, but a good brush goes a long, long way. I mean, some of the detailing that I do, I couldn't do it without these brushes. That's how important a good brush is to me. And again, non-metallic miniatures, right? Like now I'm painting non-metallic metal pretty much anytime I can. And I didn't start out doing it. So here's a miniature that I just painted a few weeks ago. This is one of my Athenian Marines for Mortal Gods. And it's not perfect. There's a lot of things that are wrong with it, but there's a lot of things that are good about it that I'm happy with. I'm happy with this miniature. It's probably one of the top 5 miniatures that I painted this year, which I'm happy about. But I didn't start out knowing non-metallic metal. I had to practice at it. So here's a miniature from what is it? Mythic Battles. It's a cheap plastic Odysseus miniature, and I had to practice to get non-metallic down. I didn't start like this. I mean, this is after months of dedicated work trying to get it right. This is what I started with, doing really crappy non-metallic metal work to figure out how the lighting works, the shading, how, where to apply the highlights, how to blend. This does not look good. This looks terrible. But that's the point. We have to start somewhere. We have to find a way to get past our own hangups, to get better. So again, this is why I think talent is overrated. I had a struggle. I had to essentially cheat my way through painting to become decent at it. And that sounds, sounds terrible, but that's the way it is. I mean, you struggle, you sweat, you practice, you learn, and then you get better. And the people that dislike my videos, I want to know why you don't like what I have to say. Like, don't just dislike my video and run off. Like, no, post in the comments what it is you think I'm not correct about. Now, some people said, well, they think talent and skill are not the same things, and therefore you can have both. And maybe that's true. I'm not going to say that that's not true, but I will say that you're not born with the ability to use a paintbrush. You might have a specific, an attribute that helps you with like better eyesight, or like you might have dexterity in your fingers that help you have better brush control. That is possible, and I'm totally fine with people saying that there's like evolutionary advantages that one person has over another. 100%. That's a real thing. That's legitimate. But don't translate that to magic with a paintbrush, because I'm sorry, even a person who has good dexterity with their hands and can have better brush control still has to learn how to use the brush. They don't just magically pick up a brush and start painting. There is dedication and time there that you're not seeing. Maybe it takes them less time to get there than you, but that's not quote unquote talent. That is still dedication, work, and effort that they're putting in to get to where they are. And I really feel like talent is a word that we need to kind of do away with in the hobby, and just because it's also disheartening. And again, I feel like I'm trying to be positive in my message here. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to say that anybody can pick up a brush and get to where I'm at and surpass me. They do not have to be intimidated by my work. And I never want anyone to feel intimidated by what I'm painting. I want them to understand that, yeah, if you're struggling, I was there once. I can help you through this. I've been there. Ask me questions. I can give you advice that worked for me. Hopefully it works for you. And I never want anyone to come away from my videos thinking that that I'm trying to be, dissuasive in the hobby, because that's not true at all. I want people to feel empowered and to feel like they can achieve this. And honestly, I believe that anyone can. So look, if you're going to dislike this video or my last video, okay, I can't stop you, but please, in the comments, explain why. There's no reason why there has to be so much negativity in this hobby. I just want there to be hope for people, and I don't think that's wrong. And if it is, then I'm a horrible person who thinks hope is a good thing. So whatever. I'm okay with that, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, this is my 2 cents. I know that some people are going to dislike this video too, and my last video, I don't know what to do about it, but it is what it is. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I know it took me a long time to get to this point in the video. Hopefully you guys are still watching it, and hopefully I don't lose a lot of subscribers because of this video, but I have to tell you how I feel. This is how I feel about it. I know not everyone's going to agree with me. It's fine. I get it. If you don't agree with me, we can still be friends. I'm not going to hate you for it, but I'm just going to give you my opinion. And you don't have to like it, but it's my opinion. So that's it, guys, and I will talk to you in the next video. We will get back to painting very, very soon, and I have some really cool things to show you that I've done. And yeah, catch you guys later.